Jeff Howe, the Patriots beat reporter from the Boston Herald, who tweeted out that he's been watching film of Julian Edelman and then of Marcus Peters and how Julian Edelman was going to roast Marcus Peters. I read that tweet to Eric Stonestreet, who responded to that. Been watching a ton of Chiefs film. Julian Edelman is going to roast Marcus Peters, is what Jeff Howe tweeted out. Then Stonestreet, after hanging up the phone from the show, retweeted Jeff Howe from @Eric Stonestreet. Do we have some of these tweets? Mike Norris, just keep putting them up there here at the LA Broadcasting Center. Jeff Howe responded to Stonestreet retweeting it. Wait, I got called out by the 9th funniest guy and 2nd best football coach on Modern Family, which Stonestreet retweeted saying hurtful. And then Danny Zucker, who is an executive producer and one of the lead writers of Modern Family, this man wins Emmys hand over fist. As a fellow writer, I must correct this glaring lie. @Eric Stonestreet is widely known as the 10th funniest on Modern Family. Jeff Howe of the Boston Herald's calling into the Rich Eisen show right now. How are you, Jeff?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. I stirred it up, Jeff. I got to be honest with you. I put you in the pot on this one. You and Eric together. I just threw you both in there. That's what I did.
Hey, it's all in good fun. I thought it was hilarious, but I do have a couple problems. Number one,
okay, Jeff,
being that he is a big-time celebrity.
Yes.
He's been on one of the number one sitcom in America for the last few years.
Yes, he has.
He calls into your show,
yes,
and he accuses me of seeking out attention.
No, hold on a minute. He's not seeking attention. I asked him to call in at some point during the week. I just didn't know he was calling in at that point in time. Just as you were tweeting out about Marcus Peters and with a phrase that I knew would just stir him up, Jeff.
Tomato, tomato. But the other thing there is, he had the classic line. And actually, the joke's on him. I wore boots without laces that day, so I didn't have to tie my own shoes. But anyway, the other thing there, he pulls he's an assistant coach line. But then later in his interview with you, he couldn't even name DeAndre Hopkins.
Well,
so
no.
What leg does he have to
look
stand
at
on
you,
there?
Jeff Howe. You're just coming out guns a-blazing right now. I love the caveat of it's all in good fun, and then you just keep firing away. And it's just the folks in New England have just been very angry this year. And I know the Chiefs fans came at you as well, right, Jeff? It's just been an ugly week on Twitter for you.
Oh, it's been an onslaught. Really, for 48 hours or so. Chiefs fans are completely... See, I never take myself too seriously on Twitter because I don't think that's the forum to really, take yourself very seriously. But Chiefs fans they've said some nasty things about me and things that they would hope that I would do to myself, behind the internet wall. So, hey, whatever, it is what it is. But, hey, this tweet came from, and, I'm not trying to sit here patting myself on the back,
sure,
but I take a lot of pride in my film reviews. I don't like to just throw crap against the wall for the sake of, whatever. I mean, if you read, tell Eric to read my Super Bowl preview and the game plan that I set up for the Patriots offense to beat the Seahawks defense. And the Patriots did a whole lot of that stuff, and a lot of it was executed through Julian Edelman. And what I saw in film, and Marcus Peters is a very good player. He's going to be a deserving Defensive Rookie of the Year award winner. But he plays off the ball, off the line of scrimmage, 8 to 10 yards on almost every single play. That's his style. He stays on one side of the field. The Patriots are as good as anybody at exploiting certain areas of coverages where they think that they can use their strengths to their advantage. Mm-hmm. Julian Edelman is a guy that can beat pretty much anybody if they're not pressing him at the line of scrimmage. So if they send him off wide right and you're asking Marcus Peters to give him 8 to 10 yards of space, he can beat Peters with any route in his arsenal. And I think Antonio Brown is the only guy in the game who is a better route runner than Julian Edelman. So I think they can do a lot of that with Edelman. And then, if they give him that space, I think they're going to use a lot of crossing routes, get behind the linebackers who drop into zones quite a bit, and he's going to get in front of the safeties who are going to be targeting Gronk. So there's a lot of layers as to why I think Julian Edelman is going to have a good game against Marcus Peters. I'm not saying Peters is a bad player. I just think that what he does fits into what the Patriots do well.
Jeff Howe, the Boston Herald Patriots beat reporter, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's going on with Gronk? What's up with him, best you can tell?
Well, it's not ideal. He had an injection in his knee yesterday. That's kind of gone downhill a little bit. It's never fully recovered from that hit that he took in Week 12 in Denver. He missed one game. He came back on a limited basis in Week 14 against Houston. He tweaked the knee again in Week 15 and then again in Week 17 against the Dolphins. and they needed to put the injection in there yesterday to try to get him ready for tomorrow. So if he's going to go, he's supposed to try to play through some pain, but he is going to be hampered. He's not going to be anywhere near 100%. He was also added to the injury report last night with the back. Told that's not that much of a concern. It's really the knee that he's going to have to fight through.
And it was your paper that broke the whole Chandler Jones story. Well, certainly in the fact after it was told by Foxborough police that they had no contact with him. That is obviously not the case. What is the current status of Chandler Jones? Is there going to be any sort of discipline or just give me the absolute latest on this kid?
Well, it's been a very strange story, and credit to our news staff for breaking through on a very difficult story to cover this week. But as far as football is concerned, Chandler Jones met with the media yesterday during the final 75 seconds of the open locker room. He had an opening statement and then answered 3 questions. And the biggest takeaway that I took from that was he said that he was preparing to play the biggest game of his life. And that is, in my opinion, I'm not going out on a limb here, a strong inclination that he is going to play tomorrow. So will he be limited? The other thing is, they could hide behind the fact that he missed the regular season finale with a toe injury. So that's been an issue for a few weeks. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But again, you look at the Wes Welker 1 series suspension for the Rex Ryan foot jokes a few years ago. The Patriots did a pretty good job of hiding that for a little while. So he could absolutely play fewer than the 95-ish% of the snaps that he typically plays when he's fully healthy. But it's again, just based off what he was saying, it sounds like he's going to be out there.
What about Vollmer and everybody else that's been missing? How whole are the Patriots going to be when they take the field tomorrow?
Vollmer is still going to be limited. That ankle isn't in great shape, but he's going to be an upgrade over there. They've had a really tough tackle situation this year. They've played 5 left tackles, and when you're protecting Tom Brady's blind side, that's an issue. But I believe Vollmer is supposed to try to give it a go, but he's not going to be anywhere near 100%. The rest of the guys are looking pretty good. Julian Edelman, he's not going to be 100%, but it's not from a lack of trying. He's been running some intense workouts with Tom Brady in the practice bubble. Last week they had a couple walkthroughs. After the walkthroughs, Brady and him went through marching up and down the field, route after route after route, trying to get the conditioning and the timing right. So there's a lot of reason to think that Edelman is going to be as close to full strength as I guess you possibly can be 62 days after breaking that foot. Dante Hightower's knee is in pretty good shape. It's not ideal, but he sprained his MCL about a month ago at this point. It's going to be 20 days in between games because they sat him in the regular season finale against the Dolphins. So, again, you're going to see him wreaking a lot of havoc. He's going to be a huge, huge part of that defensive game plan because they have to stop that Chiefs running game. But it sounds like he's pretty much good to go. Rob Ninkovich was a little bit gimpy toward the end of the regular season, but that was a shin injury that plenty of rest and treatment. He should be fine. And Tom Brady has a low ankle sprain that he suffered against the Dolphins. He made a ton of progress last week during the bye week to the point where they had a bowling trip, a little bowling outing on Friday. Bill Belichick had a fun little, broke up a team meeting and said, everybody to the bowling lane. So they went across the mall there at Patriot Place. They all went bowling. Brady was out there having a good time. So they didn't even, they didn't take him off the bowling lane, which is a lighthearted way to just point out the fact that they're not saying, hey, Tom, take it easy. They called him a limited participant in practice all week, but I wouldn't expect that to be a big deal tomorrow. So
then Brady picking up the 7-10 split and the pin flies up. That's what hit Belichick in his left eye?
That's exactly how it happened. How'd you know?
I'm just spitballing. Hashtag spitballing. That's all I'm doing right now, Jeff. But, just what a week. What a week in New England. And I appreciate you calling in, Jeff. Thank you.
Anytime. I appreciate you reaching out and having me onto the show. It's a fun time.
No, you bet. And Stone Street's having fun with you, Jeff. I'm not going to sit here and be Brandon Marshall and say if Marcus Peters roasts Julian Edelman, you have to come on and apologize. I won't do that. Okay, Jeff?
I won't hide behind it. If that's what happens and he has the upper hand and Eric Stone Street wants to take it out on me, I'll be more than game to entertain.
Thanks, Jeff, for calling in. I appreciate it. We'll chat soon.
All right, have a good one, Rich.
You bet. That's Jeff Howe.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.